Okay, Win4Icom. I'll launch it, and this would be like a clean install because it's going to come up and say, I can't find your damn radio. So I'm going to bypass this setup, here, do this, do that. And these are the radios that can be controlled with this software. 71, 73, 7600, 7610, blah, 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 blah. So I'm picking the 7300, comes up with the default address. Mine happens to be on COM6 on my computer, and I'm running a baud rate of 115.2. Click connect. It's connected, and there's a bunch of user preferences, and we're going to come back to this setup screen later. Now it should open up the Win4Icom software by Tom somebody or other, VA2 something something something. And I'm just going to have the one screen open. This is the primary screen. Anything you can do here, you can do from the front of your radio. It's not adding any features, okay? But one might be easier than another. It's pretty damn easy to reach over and grab the knob on the radio and turn the volume up.
Well, good evening, Miss Emma. I got myself dug out.
And if you notice, this slider moved when I turned the volume up. Watch it again.
Tonight, I think I'm going to treat my body to hot.
Same thing with any of the controls you manipulate on the radio. RF gain. If I hit tap on RF power, RF power slider is moving up and down as I turn the knob. I'm going to go to a dummy load so we listen to the Pony Express net or Cowboy net. But that way you can still hear the beeps. You can pick any band you want, pretty much like any other control software. Mode, pick your mode, pick your nose. What's kind of neat, this is a little CW, you can change the side tone, pitch, and change your speed without even touching the radio. Turn the break-in on and off, full break-in, whatever. Adjust your bandpass filters, select filter 1, filter 2, filter 3. For Bill and Tom, are you guys sitting by your radio? Give me a thumbs up. I don't know if you knew this. You got right above your frequency display in the radio, it says FL1, FL2, FL3, right? Did you know that if you tap and hold that, tap and hold the FL button, and you know the split screen where you have the twin passband, it stays on your screen. Now to get rid of it, you got to get same way you turned it on, press and hold, and it'll go away. I've always hated that with the passband tuning on ICOM. You turn the knob, and the damn window goes away before you're sure what you got. So there's a tip there. Speaking of passband tuning, here's the same thing, the inner and outer knob. In fact, I wish I had two cameras. I had another camera and I tried to film the radio and it came out like crap. But with that press and hold on the FL button, when I slide these sliders back and forth, it shows up on the screen on my radio. Okay? And here's the reset button, just like you press and hold it on the knob. And all these controls, same as on the front of your radio. So nothing really unique here as far as control software. But I want to know what my SWR is, so I'm going to right click on this meter and I'm going to set it to SWR. So now I can pick any meter I want and stays on my screen. Let's make this one ALC because I might be doing FT something, maybe. I doubt it. But you get the idea. RIT, your adjust up and down, you can either drag all these sliders, you can either drag them or just hover over them and use your mouse wheel and it'll go in smaller increments. You can see it changing in the window versus just a big change. Same with RF power. I can drag it up and down, or let's see, I'm at 53, I want to go to 50, so I'll just use my mouse wheel and get 50 out of it. Okay? Big deal, right? Let's go to 40 meters, whatever. Now, some of the other things here, I've only got the primary window open. The 7300 has a spectrum scope in it. So if I open the spectrum window with no antenna, we're probably not going to see much. I'm going to go down to CW just because it's less annoying. And we'll pick, this looks like a CW signal. Nope. And if I turn the knob on the radio, same. Let me go to center, I like it better. What's all the digital tonight? Okay, you get the idea. It's basically replicating your display on your radio. Has center mode, fixed mode. You can zoom in, zoom out. Same sort of thing. Edges, just like on the front of your radio. You want to change the threshold. You got too much garbage. Okay. Okay, so much for that. Back to the other windows. What else can I do? The audio scope. Put that on there. Window. Audio spectrum. Pretty much the same thing when you, on your front of your radio, when you hit menu and pick audio, it displays the same stuff. Obviously, we got a CW signal. "7NJ" something or other. So, like I say, it's not adding any features that you can't do from the front of your radio. But let me minimize all this poop. I'm going to close some of this. And see if this will work. This is a video.
Okay, let's say you
Oh, it's on the wrong screen.
Paddle to straight key or bug or whatever, and from the front of your radio, you would select menu.
Oh, come on. How do I pause this thing?
Edit.
Were you hearing that at all, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did here, I just picked a function, and this is one that I use a lot, okay? Because I got paddles and I've got straight keys, and depends on who I'm talking to, I might want to go to straight key. So this is how I do it from the front of the radio.
Okay, let's say you want to change from a paddle to straight key or bug or whatever, and from the front of your radio, you would select menu, keyer, edit set, CW key set, key type, and we'll go to straight key. Then exit out. Turn the scope back on, and you're all done. It's much easier with Win4Icom.
So it kicked me out of scope, go through the menus, blah, 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 pick straight key. With the software, there's a little button right here in the middle. It says straight key. I want to use my paddle. I'm on the paddle. Now, that's just one function. There's other things that, you know, you guys know how to drive the radio. You want to change this, you want to change that, and the software makes it easier. Is it worth paying for? That's a decision you got to make, because you don't need it, okay? You could do all this crap from your radio. If you got two monitors like I'm running here in the shack, you could put the spectrum display on one and blah, blah, blah. It spreads all around. Okay, what else can you do with this thing? Frequency memories. You know the ones you programmed in your radio? And you press memory, then you turn the multi-knob for channel 6 or channel 28 or whatever you got programmed in. I just click on it. See my frequency changed to 7062? So if I want to click on this one I made up, I called it Bob. I just made a frequency. 14206, and it changed. Okay? And it's got 99 of them just like your radio has. Okay? Nothing new. What is kind of neat, and I don't do a lot of memory programming, but let's close this puppy, and let's say we found down on 30 meters on, at 10.1 on CW, and I had 50 watts. My keyer was at whatever the hell it's at, wherever I set it. And I'm at a break-in, and I'm using a paddle. I like this, and I talked to somebody on 10.11. So I go back to my frequency memories. Oh, come on. Oh, I turned it off, dummy. And, oh, here's an empty spot. So I'm going to click here, right-click, replace memory with current radio settings, and I'll give it a name and say, this is where I talk to Fred on Tuesdays. Done. It's in the radio. So that's kind of handy.
I was going to ask you about that, if the memories would stick when you put them in there.
Yeah, let me double check to make sure I'm not lying. Memory. What would you put that in? Number 10. 8, 9, oops. Oh, I've got RIT turned on here. I got too many buttons pushed. There we go. Memory 10 is 10.11 CW. Turn in the multi-knob. So it put it in there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's of course one of the benefits of RT software. You can program those memories, and you can drag them from the 7610 to the 7300 to the 9700. You can drag the memories around. Of course, when you drag a VHF memory from the 9700 to the 7300, it's going to go, I can't use that because it doesn't have that. So those are memories, and I only got a couple in mind, like I say, 4 or 5. I'm not a big memory guy. I like doing like this. I just turned the knob. So
Greg, can I interject with a question?
Yeah, you bet.
If I want to bring back, say, 10, I'm not in this window for frequency memories. Is there a way to do it quickly? Or a hotkey, or?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I guess if you didn't have the window open, you could just either click on the window, or on this radio, just reach over for the multi-knob and spin up. You know that you always use memory number 43 on Thursdays,
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
There's a couple other windows. We had the spectrum open, the audio and oscilloscope, macros. And I think I zeroed out my macros. There's none there. So I'm going to right click on my macro, edit, and I'm going to make a simple one. QRP mode. I want power control 5. Is it 5 or it's 05? Semicolon. And I'm going to save it. Test. Exit. And I say, why in the hell would you want a macro? Well, I do QRP occasionally, and if I create a macro that's 0, I have a practice macro. It turns the power down to 0, turns break-in off, selects paddle. So I do all those functions with one click, and I can sit here and practice. Everything's turned off. Whereas with the radio, it's not hard. Don't get me wrong. It's not hard to do. You got to punch break-in 3 times and turn it off. Then I got to go through that deal and select paddle. Then I got to hit the multi-knob, tap power, and crank it from 100 down to whatever I want, 0, let's say. So watch this slider right here. It's sitting right now, I think, at 50 watts. We played earlier. I just put it up to 100 watts. So, oh, my macro window went away. If you don't overlap them, they don't go away. Let me just prove it here. Yeah, see, it just changed the window. So if I hit QRP, that RF power right here is going to drop down to 5 watts. Okay? And the macros are not hard. If you need help, you hit this help button. It opens up a PDF on the guy's website that as soon as it gets over here, I'll drag it over. Can you see it? So I'll make it bigger so we can see it, but so if you wanted to change frequency, VFOA is FA, etc., etc. I'm not going to go through all of it, just to give you a quick one. I'm going to say this is K7TFW. I want a frequency on VFOA of 07067.000 semicolon. For a mode, I want CW. You probably can't see it; it's too small. I'm going to do filter 01. Power control, I want 50 watts. The break-in, I want to do semi. And my paddle is going to be paddle. Now, you have to save it. And again, the question comes up, who gives a crap? Why would you want to do that? You could put that all in memory. You're right, you could. Now I have
something neat to know.
now I got a button that says K7TFW, who I talk to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if I was doing 80 meters last night or whatever, or Century Club or something, I just click on this call sign that I put in. My radio went to 7067 CW paddle. Break-in is off. I must have mistyped something because it says off. It should be semi. So I screwed up but you get the idea, right? So now if you have other macros, I'm going to load this macro set. It updates the buttons here in a minute. Here's a practice button. So if I click on this practice button, daily is the K7TFW, by the way. If I click on practice, it sets my RF power to 0. Break-in is off. And now, so I can practice. I use this in the mornings with Buck and a couple other guys, and we practice CW. It's the same button I use when we have CW on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, I assume when you do the macro, you can also select the antenna. So if you have it go into a dummy load for your practice, that'll take place automatically as well.
If you have multiple antenna ports on your radio, the IC7300's only got one, so I have to use a manual switch.
But on the 3000, that would be a possibility.
Yep, you betcha.
Slick, very
Yeah,
slick.
so you just go to that macro window, right click for edit, and then there's a help button, and it should open up a list of what you can do.
Cool.
What other windows we got? Anything anybody cares about? CW memories. Am I on the dummy load? Oh, I'm on the practice mode, right? Yep. So these are keyer memories. These are the same 8 buttons that you have on your 7300, where you go to that screen and press F1, F2, F3, whatever. And these 8 here are the voice memory keyers. So I'm going to close the CW. 40 meters, I don't care what frequency. Let's just go to upper sideband. And I'll click this one. Sideband, lower sideband maybe.
CQ contest, Whiskey Bravo 7, Golf Radio. CQ contest.
That could be a little loud, but you get, so in the 7300 you can record 8 voice memories, and you go to that screen and you punch the button. These are those 8 buttons. For CW, they're listed in here. And I'll slow it down a little. Okay. Whether or not it's useful, that's for you to decide. It's sure got a lot of whiz-bang stuff. CW terminal. Okay. That opened on the other page, so I got to drag it over here so you guys can see it, I hope. So I'm going to say, hi, RJ, and I'm going to send it. QRZ, WY7AA, enter. I don't think I'm linked up. Yep, Robert Bragg, Granite Canyon. It's very limited because I don't have a subscription. So that's the CW terminal. And then I could change the speed here. You get the idea. Now, why did I buy this thing? Not for any of these reasons. I bought it. Let me close macros. So all we have open is the primary window. I bought it for, I'm going to settings, third-party software and hardware. I like to have this open. I like to have my AC log open. I like to have my SKCC log open. I like to have FL Digi open because it'll decode CW. Okay? So look at all these COM ports. This software is talking to the radio. All my other pieces of software talk to this software, not the radio. Well, my computer doesn't have COM21 and COM23 and COM11. You're right, it doesn't. And I closed the wrong window, didn't I? Can I go back? Nope. I'll fix that. Got it. I'm going to close this and drag over a web page. If you Google COM0Com, and the one by SourceForge.net, say that in selling seashells and shit. What it does is it takes application 1, which in this case is going to be my Win4Icom or Win4Yaesu, and it lets it talk to another application. Win4Icom, Win4Yaesu has 6 of these boxes. That was that screen I just showed you. These 6 boxes, or 6 things, would be represented by application 1. Okay, so did I close that? I think I'm not going to find it. When you run COM0Com, it's pretty self-explanatory, and the instructions are well written. You type in 11 and 12, 13, 14, 27 and 29, whatever you want for the 2 COM ports for these 2 boxes. And I only set up 6 of them because that's the maximum I could use in the Win4 suite. So that's COM0Com. And I made all of my odd numbers, 19, 21, 23, 11, 13, whatever. That's this box 1. Because COM, whoop, oh, don't want to make it big, Greg. We'll take, I wish I had a better picture. I had another graphic, but I don't remember what I did with it. You have, this is 11, this is 12, 13, 14, 21, 22. You get the numbering system. That's the way I paired them up. So that I know an odd number is the one that's being used by Win4 Suite, and the even number is the one I got to put in my logbook in FL Digi, whatever. Get that out of the way. So now, as you can see, COM 19, then all these I picked 38,400. Oh, there's a 19 too. The standard old, remember the old COM ports where you had interrupts and IRQs and all that shit? They were limited, they were running a little slower speed, 9,600, 1,200. So I slowed those two down just for that reason. Then I gave it a name. AirLink FL Digi, my AC log, SKCC log. OmniRig I don't use, it's leftover. And N1MM contesting software. Okay? So, what's cool about that? Well, I only got one radio, and it's talking on COM6. I'm going to open my AC log. Now, let's open something that's quicker. Here's the SKCC logger. It opens up a lot faster. Yeah, unless your database is out. So, this is my log that I use for, I don't know which log this is, because I only got 78 contacts and I got about 500 in there. Anyway, start logging. Notice the frequency here, and notice the frequency here. On my radio, I'm going to hit frequency, and I'm just going to pick 20 meters. Both pieces of software are tracking the radio. And I'm using PC time. So, let's open amateur contact log. This is going to get crowded on the screen. Look at there, same frequency. It's still opening my logbook because it's on a damn network drive. It'll take 30 seconds or 40 seconds, whatever, to wake up this drive. Sure it will. There we go. I'm going to go back to, on my radio, I'm not touching this mouse. I'm going to go back to 40 meters. This updated, that updated, that updated. I'm going to close AC log just so we don't have too much stuff going. I just opened FL Digi. Don't like that guy, does it? Oh, got to get on it first. So you can find somebody sending a little faster than that. Bands are pretty quiet.
Hey, Greg, do you have to change your op mode too when you're in FL Digi like normal? I mean, go up to op mode and change it to CW.
Here's CW down here in the bottom. Wonder why that didn't change. Oh, filter 3. How did I get on that? I can't believe there's nobody going 20, 30 words a minute. try 20 meters. Let's try nothing. Either way, you see everything changed to 20 meters. 14063, and as I change it, everything's tracking. That's why I bought the package, because I tend to run multiple things at once, and this lets all of my software talk to the Win4 package, and that's the only thing talking to the radio.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's multiple user products that you could all track together. I mean, that's crazy. I don't know if there's another program out there that does that.
Okay, what now that we've seen that whiz bang crap? Let me get this back. Tools, settings. I'm going to go back to third party. Look at this stuff down here. This is N3FJP, my logbook. This is SKCC logger. This is FL Digi. This is the NAQCC Sprint logger. So if I put a check mark here, let's just do two of them. Let's do two easy ones. Get that out of there. I'll put SKCC logger and NAQCC, and I'm going to save. Now I'm going to exit this thing. Look at this, turn off radio. I can turn the radio off when I bail. I'm just going to exit. It's slow to shut down. I don't know what kind of housekeeping it does, but it doesn't shut down right away. So now next time I launch Win4Icom, watch what happens. Oh, I left that window open, so it's there. There's my SKCC logger. Huh. Have I got a window I'm not seeing? Because it should have brought up NAQ, maybe NAQCC's not failed to open. Okay, NAQCC is hasn't been set up properly. It just opened it over here. But the program, because I put the check marks in the launch, whenever I launch Win4Icom, it also launches those logging programs for me. Or maybe you wanted to watch a CW Get or FL Digi, or launch your Now, I can't speak for FT8 and how that would integrate. I don't do digital, so I'm really got no help for anybody there, how it would relate. And you can tell it to close it when you dump, which I should. But I normally don't launch any of that. I just come in, turn the radio on, I punch F8, Win4Icom comes up and loads automatically, and then I'm ready to start playing around for the day. I'll click on practice, or I'll click on K7 TFW or whatever I'm doing, or just spin the dial and goof around. That's really all I got to help you guys with, or give you, or
So that would be pretty cool, Greg. I mean, if you could say you got that display up there and then you turn that spectrum on, right? You got the spectrum down below it or whatever. Because I like to have the spectrum scope on my screen when I go to scope. You know, it gives you the frequency and the scope underneath it and all that. But to get to all the junk, you have that program running, and you can run it on one screen.
Well, not only that, if you try to put your finger on that scope, that touch screen, oh, there's a signal. I guarantee you I can't hit it.
Right.
But with that mouse pointer, I can get pretty damn close.
Right.
So, yeah, because it takes that spectrum and spreads it out.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing, you know, God, I can't talk tonight. Spreading the spectrum. it's got the edge on there. You can go edge, 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 and it'll kind of bring it out or bring it in or whatever. But and I wasn't really sure you showed this, but does that spectrum spread? Can you manually adjust it as opposed to it being
Sure.
in the radio?
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Let's go. Let me get this up out of the way over here. Window. Okay. Right now, I'm going to put this on 7065. All you gotta do is double click there. We're pretty close to there. Down here in this end, I got 7055, 7075. I got a 10K spread. 100K spread, 2.5. So let me turn the gain up a little bit. No, I don't think I need to. It's pretty loud. Here's a guy. I'm going to turn the volume up. So I'm in center mode, so it put that signal. I'm rolling the mouse wheel. Let's bring up FL Digi and see if it'll decode that. But that kind of, hopefully that...
Yeah, that answered my question. You got more options on the software than you got on the radio.
Well, it's decoding, but it's not tracking. Showing 10.
Hey, Greg, you mentioned using the mouse wheel. Is that you can use the mouse wheel to move your VFO? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Yeah. Watch up here on the 170. I'm down here in this window, and I'm turning my mouse wheel. So it's tracking. Or I can simply, click where I want or drag it. And also, got zoom over here. Yeah, sure, Greg. Apparently it's zoomed all the way out. And,
So what's the zoom do?
well, see the gray spot?
Yeah.
It's just zooming in on that signal.
And it's just changing. If you look down at the 2.5, 5K, 10, it's just a different way to change that.
Yep.
I got
There
you.
you go. So now here's your band edges, 7 to 7.3. But I'm looking at the whole thing. Now, last weekend, I think it was, he released a new version of the software because of the 1.4 upgrade on the 7300. I haven't downloaded it, so I don't know how that would affect the Spectrum display. Boy, that sure got busy, didn't it? And I just never was fond of the fixed mode. I seem to mostly run in center mode. I guess that's kind of a personal preference.
I run in let's see, what am I on now? Did I go to fixed or no? I just go where the green line on the spectrum scope moves.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know which one it is. I think that's center, or I don't know. No, it's fixed.
Okay, that's fixed.
Yeah, it's fixed.
That's fixed. So if you do center, that line stays in the middle of the screen.
Right.
And the spectrum slides underneath the line.
Yeah, that just makes me crazy, man.
So I stay with center, and it's there. So if I want this signal, I got to dial it. and bring it over. Boy, clicking sure is easier.
Right.
Now the audio scope on the radio is much better than the audio scope on the software, I think. And settings doesn't have much to offer. It just lets you pick. If I pick the camera mic. Hello, kitty.
I don't find those scopes are very much useful at all. Somebody asked, "Hey, how's my audio? You know, am I splattering or whatever?" I'm like, "Sound fine to me. I mean, your band width looks good." And I turn that audio scope on, everybody looks the same. I'm like, "Nope, it's all good. You're 2.7. Keep going."
Well, I hope somebody found something worthwhile out of that. I mean, I'm no expert, and I just showed you what I do with it and why I thought it was worth the $60.